Hey, everybody. All of our past podcasts have had some technical difficulties, but I think now we have those worked out and they should be all good from here on.
My name is Scott DeRuby. I'm a graphic designer.
And you used to be part of Design the Everything, but recently we kind of went our own ways and you are doing something else now.
Yeah, I'm working on building up my freelancing game. I'm working on focusing towards machine shops, just helping them get their website and branding and all of that together.
So, where would you like to be found on the internet?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is criticalcreative.design, and my website that I'm currently working on but should be finished by the time this video is out is the same thing. It's criticalcreative.design, no .com or anything.
I will have a link down in the bio to both his Instagram and his website. For the people who are familiar with Design the Everything, what would they have seen that you did for us?
I was responsible for the majority of our Kickstarters, except that you did the videos for the most part. I did our website. Well, yeah, okay, yes, I did. I did design our brand from the ground up, so that's where the orange comes from. Though we obviously both fell in love with that.
Basically, up until the Pry Bar Kickstarter, anything, well, okay, even more simple. All of the good graphic design is Scott.
Thank you.
If you look at like my recent YouTube thumbnails, those are clearly me. Yeah, and the old website, the we switched to a an Etsy website just because it was easier for me to maintain without a Scott and to add new items to it. But the old website, which was just beautiful, was all Scott. What marketing advice would you give to somebody who is just starting up a like job shop, machine shop?
I mean, the funny answer is like find a good designer.
Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah. Only slightly self-serving, but seriously, it's a whole entire realm that you can spend years and years learning just that. But if you're starting out and you can't afford a designer, I definitely recommend getting on some social media and basically just showing everybody your process.
So, using social media and all the other normal tools, how can a new job shop set themselves apart from the competition?
Well, a lot of businesses starting out seem to feel the need to keep everything they do a secret, like they have some kind of secret sauce that everybody else doesn't have, which occasionally is true, but much less often than you would think. Uh, just like, especially with job shops, showing your process and how you make things will make you a lot more relatable. I mean, sometimes you get cool shots of like the machines running and stuff like that, and that's always fun and satisfying. But just sharing how you work can help you build a community.
One of the common things I hear from particularly job shops, this isn't really a problem with people with products, but with a job shop, a lot of the times people will be working under non disclosure agreements or under ITAR's rules. Those are the rules that make it illegal to export weapons grade technology kind of stuff. And that covers a lot of space technologies in particular because they could be used for ballistic missiles. If you are a job shop that works mostly in confidential stuff, how do you promote yourself when you can't show your work?
I think the best, or let's not the best, sorry. I think the first thing I would recommend is finding the things that you can share. If that's more business related or something else you are passionate about that's related to your business, just share that kind of advice. Um, Share how your business is going and how you do taxes and how you hire people.
Like quality control systems and like how you're automating things and lean improvements and that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's say somebody is starting a product or a product line. What marketing advice would you give to them as they're just starting off?
I mean, I begin to sound like a broken record, but it's kind of the same thing. Like literally share as much as you can. It does become a lot of work to like film and take pictures and post. Like it is not just like snap a picture and post, though if you can make it as simple as for yourself as possible, that's always better. But that being said, like if you're at the beginning of the process, like start sharing your brainstorming sessions. Share your dumb sketches that don't make sense, and then just talk about it. uh, it's everybody works a little bit differently, or sometimes a lot of bit differently, and it's interesting to see the process.
What are your opinions on other forms of advertising? Think traditional media, uh, paid internet ads.
Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of a surprising fact to most people, but direct mail is still far and away the most effective form of advertising. But that being said, anybody in this audience that's like 1 to 10 people, it does not have the revenue to afford direct mail, especially when a lot of you are B2B. I think that pretty much all advertising has its place, be that TV ads or internet ads or Google ads, whatever form, uh, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, whatever. I think a lot of people. Well, okay, so I just had a friend who is a DJ. He said that he put in some money into some Google ads last year and basically like saw zero return. Um, it's I think that there's definitely a way for him to see return on Google ads, like advertising directly to the Indianapolis area and targeting people who are getting married and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure how that works on the Google backend, but there's a lot to learn. Like you can't just throw money at internet advertising and see a return. The whole world thinks they can do that.
You used to work at a newspaper making ads, right?
Yes,
What makes a good ad? What makes a bad ad?
there are a few really easy mistakes to make, especially when you're doing newspaper ads. First of all, they are not a design service. And I can say this because I worked for the biggest newspaper owner in the country. They're not going to help you with your ad. They will make exactly what you ask for, which can go both ways. Most of the time, I'll say it's negative because the people paying for advertisements do not have experience in building ads. Easy mistakes are way too much text. Like if you buy a 3 by 3 inch ad and you fill the entire thing with text, nobody is going to read your ad. We've gotten really lazy as a society, and we've gotten bombarded with ads. I think there's some crazy statistic that people see a minimum of 4,000 ads a day,
Gosh.
which is just wild. um, some low hanging fruit for good ads, I would say pick one message and then stick to it and make it very clear what you're trying to sell or what you are offering your customers. I guess you'll see this in emails a lot. I subscribe to a couple of different shoes. What is? I'm gonna look up the name of this stupid company because that sounds dumb.
I subscribe to shoes.
Yeah, I subscribe to shoes. So I subscribe to Allbirds email ads. They are great. You'll see them everywhere on the internet, honestly, if you're even have slightly related interests. But they do this really well where all they do is show you a shoe and then they tell you if there's a sale going on or not. Or they'll just say this is the shoe and it's limited release and they'll probably be gone in a couple days. If like they don't muddy it up by saying like here's all our other shoes, like you may like one of those. Um, it's really easy as a business owner, and I've fallen into this trap even at the beginning, just trying to say everything all at once. The goal is to get them in the door and to get them interested. It's not to sell your entire business plan or all of your products.
How do you convince someone to buy something from you, whether it's a physical product or paying for a service you offer, like contract manufacturing?
I mean, this is like what is the answer to the universe a little.
Mm,
um, what is the meaning of life? It's not quite on that level, but it's
42.
yes. It's not quite on that level, but it's definitely a difficult problem to solve. So like all the things I'll say are like leave you with a ton of work to do yourself because it's highly specific to whatever you're selling. If you want your product to sell, you want to have found a problem and solve it, which is extremely broad. But if you are not solving your customers' problems, then I don't know. There's no reason for them to buy anything from you. And that can obviously vary anywhere from like I need a pen and there like I need to write something down and therefore I need a pen. If we're talking about the classic like sell me this pen example, or it can vary all the way to like, I mean, that's a very physical and obvious need. Um, and that can vary all the way to like diamond rings, and diamond rings fill more of an emotional need than any kind of like material practical use.
Explaining to somebody how a Bic pen solves a problem for them is really easy. The need there and the problem are very obvious, and the solution is also just as obvious. But how does the same principle apply to something like the Grimsmo Saga pen, which is a $300 pen? How do you convince somebody to spend $300 instead of just buying the 25-cent Bic pen?
That's a complicated question. I think it's easy to point out that the Bic pen people and the Saga pen people are not the same people. Like I don't actually own a Saga, but I do own some fairly expensive pens, and uh, like I do not use cheap pens. uh, I think the way they sell to me particularly is craftsmanship and style. Um, which is all to say it's a luxury item. Like I clearly don't need a pen that costs me $150, uh, or even
But
$20.
then how do you sell that to somebody?
This not may not be the definitive answer, but I think you're selling the things I just said. Like you're selling the craftsmanship that you put into it, like all of the thought and work, and also the style of that pen. Like the style of that pen has to match the style of the people that you're selling to, or vice versa. It's kind of a chicken and the egg thing there, but I don't quite have a handle on this in the way I would like to. But the what you're doing is selling to their emotions, not their like practical needs.
Yeah. One of the things, I think this comes from Seth Godin, is like just keep asking why. Why would this person want this $100 pen? Well, they want a nice pen. Why do they want a nice pen? Well, it looks nice on their desk. Why do they want a pen that looks nice on their desk? Well, because other people will see it. Why do they want other people to see it? Well, it makes them look more professional. Why do they want to look more professional? Well, they're going to want
I
to
mean, sometimes that final why is like I would like to sign an important deal with this pen because that's a real thing people do.
but also like there's you get back to like basic human needs, and like people want to be accepted and people want to provide for their family, and emotions of all those things get tied into their purchases, whether it's conscious or not, or obvious to them or not.
Yeah, most people do not buy that pen thinking like I want to look professional in front of other people. They think what a cool pen.
Yes.
But deep down, the rest of what you said is definitely true of somebody.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, inside them their brain is like, their lizard brain is like, I want to look professional in front of my boss so I can get a promotion, so that I can, look extra good to my wife so that we can be happy.
It kind of sounds like this thing I heard as a kid, which is true, is that if you this is super random, so sorry. This is but is if you go to Wikipedia and click the second blue link on every page, eventually you'll get back to one of eight things, which is it's like philosophy, theology, politics, and like stuff like that. And eventually, once you're in that loop, you just go around in a loop of those six
Yep.
or eight things, and it's very much like that. Like there's a reason that happens. It's because everything can be boiled down to a state like that.
You have the best outside view of design the everything of any person, because we basically talk constantly. We text all day
Yeah.
about design the everything and other things. You know the history of design the everything better than anyone. So what would you say that design the everything is doing wrong right now, and how would you fix it, either specific to marketing or otherwise?
I guess I'm hesitant to put forward unsolvable problems, or at least immediately
Go
unsolvable
for it,
problems.
that's fine.
But a lot of the are like the two things that come to mind probably require more people. So the one of the bigger ones that I think would be super cool would be to put out more products more often. You're definitely not slow, but you're only one person.
Yeah.
I, I'm trying to be generous. like a more steady stream of content showing new things would definitely help
Hmm.
more than like what, even when I was helping, we would still like did one product a year. Things have definitely improved over time, but that's probably a big step for Design the Everything to take. Literally just two big products in a year, or two like
Yes.
regular products. I guess. Hmm. My second one would be maybe slightly more produced social. I definitely
Yeah.
appreciate I definitely appreciate your like vloggy stories now. Like that's cool. You know, it allows you to do a better job explaining what's happening more than just a caption, especially because some people don't read, well, some people, most people don't read captions.
Yep.
um, but all that being said, you know, if I don't know how to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound mean. Um,
No, sound mean.
it doesn't
Like
like,
I'm asking this for a reason. Like sound mean. That's fine.
yeah, I think like I guess I feel bad because I know all the work that you put into to posting as regularly as you can. I just think that some like better photography would really help.
And is this specifically on Instagram or YouTube as well?
Hmm. I guess mostly Instagram because that's where most of the photography will go, but
Mhm.
really in general, I mean your thumbnails could use work, but you know that.
my
um,
I understand that my thumbnails are basically a caricature of themselves.
yeah. I think something I'm learning is that diversifying your social media when you can handle it is a good idea. Don't. This is definitely not advice to use like 4 platforms starting out.
Hmm.
It's much more important to just do one well than it is to do 4 or 5 badly or even average. So if you can just do one well or above average, then that's much more valuable. For Design the Everything specifically, I think there's been an Instagram for a long time and it's built a good following. And I think it's still growing. I'm not as in the numbers anymore.
Our
Um,
our growth on Instagram has almost completely stopped.
oh, well, I know that sometimes that happens and you just have to plug through it. So um, who knows, honestly. In a month or two, hopefully it'll pick back up.
So part of that is at one point I took a pretty long break from Instagram and we just lost all inertia there. The other thing is I have stopped pushing Instagram and am hitting YouTube really hard. For every minute that I used to put into Instagram, I am now putting 2 minutes into YouTube and a second into Instagram.
Oh, sorry. Making videos that are longer, or let's just say that aren't like straight out of the Instagram app, is definitely takes a lot more work and time. If you're doing any editing
Yes.
at all, it'll probably take you. I mean, if you're already good at editing, if, it'll take you at least double the amount of time that the video is, and normally it's a lot more like 6 or 8 times that. So
And in my experience, the shorter the video, the more time it takes to edit.
what?
Yeah, because
In what
okay,
way?
so the shorter the final product, the more time it takes to edit. It's
Oh,
really easy to record an hour of video and make and put it in a 50-minute long edit and post it to YouTube. I can do that in like 45 minutes. Getting 2 hours of raw video down into a 5-minute finished product is very time consuming because you have to mercilessly hack at the video you have to just get down to the key points that you need to show to tell the story.
yeah, I agree. That's definitely harder. Most of the videos I've made over the course of my somewhat short video career are more just like editing out ums and obvious like gaps where they're not saying anything and they need to restart. But I do know that the like actual storytelling form you're talking about will take a lot more work.
One of the tips that I was told recently was that if you are watching your video and there is a section of the video that you can remove and it still makes everything that comes after that, like if the clip after that still makes sense with that removed, just remove it. Like if you can just skip it and go from the before clip to the after clip seamlessly, then that clip shouldn't be in there. And that's the mistake that I see a lot of people making as they just get into YouTube.
Oh, this video needs bloopers. No, I was gonna say have a sudden need for branding, which is not how it works.